the plane left or right. Up here, they properly align us during turns. You left the training airspace, you need to go back.
Yeah, where do I need to go, man? Hello and welcome to this first in the series of Total Noob tries to fly a plane in Microsoft Flight Simulator series. In this series of videos, I will be trying to fly planes from scratch. I've heard a lot about this game, and from what I've seen, it looks amazing, and I just wanted to try it also. What I think that we'll be doing is, first of all, learn to fly. We need to do the flight training to learn to fly an actual plane, because, well, I've got zero experience. So yeah, let's see what we can do. In short, Flight Simulator 2020, or Microsoft Flight Simulator as it's called, is one of the highly anticipated games of this year. Visually, as you can see in the screenshots, the screenshots by themselves look amazing. Fun thing is you can start anywhere in the world. All the little dots are, as far as I know, airfields you can start and fly from, like over here, Nakina in Canada. Is it Canada? Yep, Canada. But also, yeah, you pick any point on the world and just start flying. There's a lot of great regions to explore. It's a big world. You can even use live weather and live traffic conditions. It's so promising. I look forward to explore all corners of the world with you guys. So without further ado, let's do some flight training. We'll see how far we come with this first video. I think the second one will be like the first solo flight navigation and first solo navigation. My plan after that is to do some challenges. We have some great challenges in the game, like bush flying. There are multiple phases. I want to do a series of that. And well, if you want to see something, just leave a comment down below, and give me some tips of where to go with plane suggestions, location suggestions, maybe weather suggestions, because the weather is fully interactive. Yeah, let's go. Let's do some basic controls and cameras. I've set up the game to work. Well, I did some work before I started this to set up my joystick. It's really terrible, so I hope to get a new one very soon. I've set up the basic controls. I have to do a lot with my mouse, like levers and buttons. But yeah, it's basic controls. So let's see how far we can get with this basic mapping I've got. Okay. We're in Sedona, Arizona. Well, that's Cessna 152. It's a very small little plane. I'm currently running this on high, but just, well, look at it now. Look at the view. Okay, are we ready? Well, I certainly am. So buckle up. Let's go. Okay,
Welcome to
instructor.
flight training. I'm your instructor, Captain Molina. But
Where's my
you can
instructor?
Just call me Jess. This session, we'll get started with some basic controls. Sound good? First things first, let's get familiar with your surroundings.
Where are you?
Don't worry. I've got the stick while you get your bearings.
Okay, a quick reference guide to
Out
basic.
your side windows, you can see we have great visibility over
it's my
Sedona
basic
today.
controls. Well, we're here. My instructor is currently flying, even though there isn't any. Let's see if we can do the objectives. Hold control left or control right for a quick view out of the
This
side.
is
window.
Red Rock
Yep.
territory. Beautiful,
Wow.
isn't it?
Look at it. Left, right, up and down to translate the camera inside the cockpit. Yep. And the right mouse button to freely. Let's save this position so I can feel a bit of the over
See
the
if you can
nose.
spot the Sedona airport.
Yep.
The runway should be a pretty easy landmark to find.
Well, let's see if we can find it. Hold S to focus
There
on
you
Sedona
go.
Airport. Ah,
Visual confirmation on the airport.
okay. So S is
Now that
snapping
we're
to
oriented, it's your
point of
turn.
interest or
Time to fly this bird.
airstrip.
The first control on our training list is the yoke. I still remember my first instructor saying the yoke is like a steering wheel.
Oh
Almost.
crap.
Sure, you can turn, but you can also pitch.
Well, it's dropping very
For
hard.
starters, it controls the ailerons. And the ailerons, they allow the plane to roll and bank into turns.
So okay, so we have to roll, I guess.
Go ahead and try rolling to the right. Nice.
Oh. It's
Now
so
let's
twitchy.
see you level back out. Good. Of course, the yoke also controls the elevator. And the elevator affects the plane's pitch, right? Pull
Well,
back on the stick.
I hope
the
so.
plane starts to climb.
Yep.
Give it
Pull
a
back.
shot.
Did it?
The most valuable things in aviation are speed and altitude. But notice, when you're pitching up, your speed is decreasing. You could add more power.
I can.
Or for now,
More
let's
power.
just pitch down.
Okay, so we have to go down a bit. Oh, without hitting the big mountain
Just like
over
that,
there.
your speed's picking up again as the nose pitches down. Okay, the last thing we're gonna cover now is the throttle. If you have the need for speed, then the throttle's for you. Full control over the power output of the engine. Let's see what happens when you cut all the power.
Oh, the engine's
Surprise,
off.
surprise! Our altitude is decreasing. This might be a good time for a piloting PSA. Always keep an eye on your surroundings, because nobody likes a low-flying duck. Alright, let's go ahead and throttle back up.
Okay, max power.
There you go. Speed is increasing, and as long as we maintain the same attitude, our altitude will keep climbing too. You're really getting the hang of your controls. Before long, you won't even need a
I'm
co-pilot.
genuinely stunned by the view. It's
Until then, if you want help with the radio or checklists or simply flying the plane, I'll be here. pass me the controls when you're ready to finish your session. Or keep flying. It is a great day after all.
So that's the first one.
Alright, I have control. Good job.
Let's give it to her. Well, that's the first. I'm baffled by the view, and I mean, it's a place I've never been, but it looks so good, and it's even, I run it on high, not even on ultra, so I can't wait to go out and go to my hometown and look at my old house. I mean, yeah. Okay, so next up is the next training flight, attitudes and instruments. We'll do some instrument reading, I guess. Okay, we're back. Same region, same plane. Let's see what we can do.
Today we're talking about attitudes of flight, how your plane is oriented relative to the horizon. If you look outside, you can see the cockpit is just about 4 inches below the horizon line. We're flying straight with a decent rate of speed. This is the cruise attitude. Let's see how it reads on your instruments.
Focus on the instruments, press.
Take a look at the attitude indicator. Yep. As the name implies, it shows your current attitude. The white line is the horizon, with the sky above and the ground below. That orange element in the middle, aligned with the horizon, that's your plane. Just like we saw outside, our current attitude reads pretty much straight and level. Okay, now let's see how much power the engine's generating. Check your tachometer. Looks like we're pushing around 2,300 revolutions per minute. Combined, attitude and engine RPMs translate to aircraft performance. Which leads us to your airspeed indicator.
That's over
now,
there.
Last but not least, check your altimeter. To figure out your altitude, you always want to read the small needle first. That's how many thousands of feet up you are. Then on to the big needle for the hundreds.
Okay, so 6,000 flat.
With our current attitude and power output, we're holding a speed of 90 knots and a stable altitude of 6,000 feet. But that's about to change. Take the stick when you're ready.
Oh geez.
Pull back slightly on the yoke to raise the nose just above the horizon line. About 2 inches. Make sure you don't pitch up too much, or the angle will be too steep to create lift. And without enough lift, we'll stall.
Let's go.
Alright,
up.
go full throttle and start climbing. Welcome to the climb attitude. See how it shows up on your attitude indicator and tachometer? According to your altimeter, we're gaining altitude. But we're losing airspeed even at full throttle, proving you can't avoid basic physics while making a climb. Okay, before we go on, let's get back to a cruise attitude. Ease up on the yoke and aim your nose just below the horizon.
Just below.
Then throttle back down to 2,300 RPMs. Nice job. We're now set up with the same attitude and power we had at the top of our lesson. Next up is the descent attitude. Start by reducing your RPMs to 1,800.
1,800?
Then drop
Yep.
the plane's nose a bit further below the horizon.
That's 1,800, and then just go down a little bit.
As expected, with a nose down attitude, our altitude is decreasing, while coming up. Why don't you get us back to a cruise attitude, and we'll hit the last part of our lesson.
Okay, so level it out and increase the throttle to 2300 RPM.
There we go.
Check.
Now that we know how to cruise, climb, and descend, let's talk about the turn attitude. Gently pull the yoke left or right to start rolling the plane.
Let's go for a left turn, so we
If
can
you take a look outside, you can see how our attitude's changed, but you can also check your
bit out of
instruments
the
for the
window.
details. As a general rule, you always want to keep your turns under 30 degrees. At the top of your attitude indicator, there's a series of notches representing 10 degrees each. Use them to control your roll.
Okay, so this is level 10, 20, 30,
Notice
but
the more you turn, the more you need to pull back on the yoke to maintain altitude. When you're rolling out, you'll need to do the opposite.
okay, didn't know that.
Roll and push
Well,
at the same time.
It looks like
The more you know about the
Never
main
mind.
attitudes of flight, the closer you get to that pilot state of mind. So keep practicing, and whenever you're done, pass me the controls.
it's possible to. No, we don't have camera controls right now because I want to view the exterior because. Oh man, look at it. Even the scratches on the window, if I turn, I mean, the level of detail is it's amazing. Even if I just use the throttle, I'm astounded by it. You can see the small rivers and even tiny villages far away. Oh, need to keep an eye on my roll. And just great. Ooh, where are we going? Where are we going? Stay level. Big mountains far away. Yep. Okay, so now we've enjoyed the view a bit. Let's give controls back to the instructor
Thanks, I've got control now. Well done.
and go on for the next lesson. They're quite basic trainings, but yeah, everything to just get you covered to do your first flight. Okay, now we're going to take off and do a level flight. You need to have to start, so 55 knots, and then for the takeoff or the climb. Okay. Okay, so max power and then just go, I think. Roll, set, and check. Everything okay? Where's the tower? Oh, we don't have a tower here. Well, whatever. I said just let's go, right? Increase throttle to maximum. Let's go. Max power. Bit of steering.
Use your rudders to stay on the center line and keep pushing power until you reach 55 knots.
40.
Good.
50.
Now gently pull back on the yoke. Line up the top of your instrument panel so it's a couple inches above the horizon. That'll pitch us up and set a good climb attitude. And we're airborne. Focus on flying straight. Use your rudders to keep the runway heading of 210 degrees. Maintain 75 knots and we'll reach our target altitude of 5,500 feet in no time.
Okay, we have to climb until the big arrow is down. I don't know if we're at the right heading. 21. Oh. Climb, climb, climb. 75. Oh, just level it out a bit. Keep on 75.
Ah, 5,500 feet. A nice, safe altitude for part 2 of our lesson. Straight and level flight. First step here is adjusting our attitude.
Okay,
We're
straighten
in a
up a bit.
cruise attitude, pushing max power. To stay level at our target altitude, let's start by easing the throttle back to 1,800 RPMs.
Okay, let's level it up a bit. And okay, V speed is almost 0. Let's bring down the RPMs bit by bit.
You've probably noticed, to maintain altitude, you need to pitch the nose up. You could just keep pulling on the yoke to hold steady, but that's not really a precise means of control.
Trimming.
Probably better to adjust your trim wheel until you don't need to push or pull on the yoke.
Trim
Drag
wheel
the trim
is
down when you need
here,
to set the nose up. Drag
Which-
it up to set the nose down.
which
Try adding
explains.
trim to keep us at 5,500 feet without
I'm currently
increasing throttle.
pulling back a bit.
If you
and
feel our pitch slipping and need to get back to the proper attitude, don't worry. Just pull on the yoke, then dial in the right trim. The
So
way I
I'm
was taught, when you adjust the trim, you make rough changes
trimming a
at
bit.
first to remove pressure on the yoke. Then small adjustments to find the perfect setting
That's
to
too
keep
far.
your desired attitude. That's the key to straight and level flight. It saves you from constantly pushing or pulling on the yoke.
Oh, we need
And
a
that gives
bit
you
more
more time
speed.
to enjoy the ride. If you want more practice using the trim, go for it. Whenever you're ready to pass the controls, I'll be here.
So we're currently in a climb. Okay, I need to get this trimming under control because quite essential. So I level it out and then it goes up. So I'm glad it's perfect. No, not quite. This looks like it. I mean, we're a bit wobbly due to the airflow, I guess, but it seems okay. I'm steering a bit. Oh, that's
Okay, I have control. Hope you enjoy the
concludes
lesson.
our lesson. So we've done the takeoff and level flight training. Let's go back to the training menu, see how far we've come. So now for the big one, it's time to land the plane. Techniques for a successful touchdown. It's 4 minutes, so.
My first instructor used to say the best part of flying is landing in one piece. The man was a terminal pessimist, but he wasn't wrong.
She's so funny.
Today,
It's
you're
amazing.
in charge of bringing us in for a safe landing. We've got clearance for a straight-in approach, so we don't have to complete the standard traffic pattern. And I've already set us up in landing configuration at 65 knots with 10 degrees of flaps and idle power. We're on the glide slope now. Maintain speed around 65 knots. Change your pitch if you need to, and keep your aim point on the runway number. When you're targeting the runway number, you want to keep it steady in your sights. If it looks like the number's moving up in your windscreen, you're coming in low. You'll need to add a bit more throttle to get back on the slope. If it looks like the number's moving down in your windscreen, well, then you're too high. You'll need to add flaps to increase your rate of descent, but you'll also need to push forward and trim to change your attitude and maintain the same speed.
Okay, I think we're way too high. Or not. So we have to aim for that runway number, which is about there.
Keep your aim point on the runway threshold. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare. Once we pass the threshold, shift your aim point to the end of the runway. Then, pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it.
We're way too high, man. Okay.
Okay, we're past the threshold. Start the flare. Keep pulling back slowly. Let the plane settle onto the runway. Don't push it down, but don't let it start climbing.
Oh. Ooh, that's a rough landing.
Nice. Now apply the brakes to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop.
What was that?
Great job. As they say,
The
any
talking
landing
and
you
the
can
stand-up
walk away
routine
from
is
a
just
good landing.
it's too
But
long.
if you
I
can use
mean,
the plane the next day, it's outstanding. Landings can be hard, even for seasoned pilots. Trust me, don't hesitate to practice. After all, that's what we're here for, right?
she was talking and yeah, she was talking on, and so I came in way too high, so I needed to drop right before the end, but we made it. But yeah, it's okay. She's like she said, just try practicing landing. Traffic patterns.
Let's be honest, no one likes going around in circles. Unless you're a pilot training on traffic patterns. Sedona's standard traffic pattern follows a 1,000-foot altitude around the main runway. By the time we're through here, you'll know how to complete the full run from takeoff to landing. So let's get started. Keep us aligned with the runway and climb to 5,400 feet. We're going for a left-hand traffic pattern.
Reach 54. Traffic pattern entrance is over there. Almost. Yep. Bit of a steep climb. 60 knots is enough.
Once we reach altitude, you're gonna start turning left 90 degrees toward a 122-degree heading. Okay, we're in the pattern. Get ready to enter the crosswind section. Good. Keep going till you reach the traffic pattern altitude of 5,700 feet. Ready to make your left turn downwind? When the runway appears at the halfway point of your wing strut, you'll know you're at a good glide distance.
And go left for a downwind turn.
We've got the wind at our back now. We're on the right track.
Level it out a bit.
To a cruise attitude and reduce power to 2,100 RPMs. Once your speed is in the white arc, add 10 degrees of flaps to prep us for landing. Now's not a bad time to check if the runway is looking good. And it probably goes without saying, always watch out for other planes entering
Looks
or
stunning,
exiting the pattern.
as always.
We're gonna fly past the end of the runway here. Keep going until you see it at a 45-degree angle behind you. That's your cue to turn left again, onto the base leg. To idle to start losing altitude and maintain cruise attitude. Keep an eye on the runway as we get ready for our final turn. That'll also keep our
vertical speed on 0.
knots.
I really have to focus. Oh, that is harder than I thought. Idle is a bit lower. 50 knots. I mean. Okay.
There we go. The runway's in full view. Make sure to keep the plane centered on approach. If
Yeah,
you're too
that's
high,
something I'm
add
worried
flaps.
about.
Too low, add power to maintain the glide path.
Oh, we need a bit more. It's not quite straight, but we'll smooth that out on landing. Okay, let's go low. And keep it centered after landing.
Way to stick the landing. Now, just apply the brakes to slow your roll. And make sure you don't stop on the runway, of course.
Oh.
If other planes are looking to land, we've got to move. Take one of the taxiways on the right.
let's do this one. I know it's not best practice, but I just want to
Good
get
job.
over this
As an old
tutorial.
instructor said to me, not only did you not die, you're really learning to fly.
I know it's not best practice to just turn on the runway back to the first taxiway you can find, but yeah, on that great violation of all that's sacred in aviation, I'm calling it a day. Stay tuned for new videos. If you like it, then like, subscribe, follow me on the socials or Twitch. I stream on Twitch every weekend, sometimes also on Wednesday and Friday. Link in the description down below. Stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you later. Bye.